It's all about Ant-Man and the Wasp. But let's be real, Wasp is really the MVP of that team. So recently at Boston Comic Con, which I was at, and I got to talk to a lot of you fans that I met there, Evangeline Lilly was there, and she was part of a panel and an interview that I really liked a lot of the stuff she had to talk about and, questions she was asked. And one thing that was particularly interesting was, people asked her, how about a WASP standalone movie? And she went out there and said, I'm really not interested in that. And, I think that's taken a lot of people, including myself, by shock, because you're like, but you're awesome. Why wouldn't you want your own movie? And she had a very diplomatic answer. It's because in her mind, and like the comics, Ant-Man and the Wasp always came together and were a team. And that's kind of how they're most fondly remembered. And honestly, if you really look back at history, I think that's kind of accurate and it really works because I like that dynamic. Now, yes, throughout history it's been Hank Pym. They had to change it up for story reasons with Scott Lang. And we see in the past that it was just Ant-Man and the Wasp when it was Hank, but that way it couldn't work out because we only get the flashbacks to that. So looking at the future, are we going to get a Wasp movie? Probably not. We're getting Ant-Man and the Wasp 2 or Ant-Man 3, and we're probably getting that all-female team-up, which she'll be a part of, which I'm honestly excited for. But I do agree with her. I don't need the Wasp movie because the character is great in a team-up capacity, as we've seen. And we already have such a full slate ahead of us that they're developing that do you really need to take away something like Eternals or something else that's new to focus on things that could be dealt with with other movies, right? Like, for example, as much as I would love to see more Thor, I don't need to see Thor come back, right? I don't need to see like a Warriors 3 movie or something if they were still alive, because it's like, why? Just keep moving forward, and Wasp does perfectly fine in the role she's already in and how much they're using her in the MCU. So just keep doing what you're doing, and it's going to work out in the end, right? I mean, I think it's proven, and I think people would go see the Wasp movie, but ultimately, it would take away from some of the other new elements we can get. And if the actress is like, I'm not really interested, then don't pressure her into it and just support her idea, which is to keep doing a team-up movie.